Here is
the
what
Majority Report.
Here is what Richard Shelby, the senior Republican senator of Alabama, had to say about Roy Moore. This is going to be incredibly damaging, I think, to Roy Moore, because you've got Shelby saying this. I think he's going to retire, I suspect, and that's why he feels comfortable doing this. But here it is.
You said that you already cast your ballot in the Alabama special election and that you chose to write in a candidate instead of voting for the Republican Roy Moore. The latest polls are neck and neck, showing Jones, the Democrat, leading by a hair. Perhaps when it comes down to it on Tuesday, who would you rather see win?
Well, I'd rather see the Republican win, but I hope that Republican would be a write-in. I couldn't vote for Roy Moore. I didn't vote for Roy Moore, but I wrote in a distinguished Republican name, and I think a lot of people could do that. Will they do it? I'm not sure. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, as a Republican, I had to vote Republican. I wanted to vote Republican. I understand where the president's coming from. I understand we would like to retain that seat in the U.S. Senate. But I tell you what, there's a time, we call it a tipping point. And I think so many accusations, so many cuts, so many drip, drip, drip. When it got to the 14-year-old story, that was enough for me. I said, I can't vote for Roy Moore.
But you're going to...
There you go. When Richard Shelby is the voice of reason, folks,
Cockservative.
you know you got a problem.
Cockservative.
Look at Shelby being a total cockservative. Maybe the girls appreciated a little education.
Here's the thing. Absent the fact that Roy Moore is a predator of young children, Roy Moore would also still be a horrible addition to our Senate, even on like classic Republican terms. I mean, this is a guy who got thrown off the Supreme Court in Alabama twice. He's an incredibly bigoted guy, and he is a radical of sorts. He is one of those so-called tenthers. Here, listen to Roy Moore. He appeared on this conspiracy theorist radio show. I don't know what the name of the show was. The Arstook Watchman Show. The Roostook Watchman. Anything with Watchman in the title.
That was a runner-up for the name of my show.
I sort of feel like you got to be, these days, a Roostook Watchman Show. Here he is talking to the, I guess presumably, a Roostock. I don't know who it is he's talking to, but on the show.
Adam and Steve. Well, I agree with you, but I think that for the people of all the states to recognize something that has existed for 6,000 years is not wrong. But I understand your position. I understand your position. Personally, I would like to see an amendment that says all the amendments after 10.
Yes. That would eliminate many problems. You know, people don't understand how some of these amendments have completely tried to wreck the form of government that our forefathers intended. Specifically, I think it's the 17th Amendment election of senators.
That's right. The 17th Amendment needs to be repealed. People also don't understand, and from being from the South, I bet you get it, the 14th Amendment was only approved at the point of a gun.
Yeah, it had very serious problems with its approval.
Just a reminder, after the 10th Amendment, in addition to the, the 17th that he said, that allowed for direct elections of senators rather than letting just sort of some rich businessmen in the state decide who's going to be the senator. You've got, what's that one? The make black people pay for their own housing amendment that otherwise is the 13th Amendment, the one that abolished slavery. There's that one. There was the 14th Amendment, which basically said, hey, states, don't try and deny them citizenship now that they're no longer slaves. They deserve, people deserve equal protection under the law. There was voting rights in the 15th. Oh, there was that one. What was that? The one that let women vote? That is not what our forefathers intended.
There's
folks.
only one thing.
They didn't intend it.
Look, there's only one thing that women should have somewhat of a right to vote over, which is whether or not you as a 35-year-old can date their 14-year-old daughters. Besides that, no vote. Come on.
These tenthers, they can't stand the idea that the federal government would get to sort of say, like, women in every state get to vote.
Yeah.
They're denying our cultural heritage by forcing us to allow women to vote. Never mind what they did to our house guests.
Never mind what we did for all those African immigrants whose favors we did to.
Man, that is the last time we run that free cruise
That's the last time.
lottery because they have shut that down. Sorry, folks.
Sorry, no more Gold Coast cruises.
Sorry.
No
We've had to
more.
shut down our free cruise.
Our free cruise,
trips.
job, training, and property. No more.
Such a shame.
And they're just going to complain and
Such a
complain and
shame.
complain. Meanwhile, they won't even see the president at the White House.
Now,
And that Jew gets reinstated on MSNBC.
unbelievable. So Jewy.
Yeah, I was actually
So
hoping
Jewy.
that.
But wait a second. So it's not just enough that Roy Moore the other day was talking about how he laments how after the fall of slavery, it really broke up the families. You know, I think there's probably a decent amount of historical research into the fact that slavery also was not so great for families. I mean, if you were black, probably not so great. See, we're going full circle here because it's not just that Roy Moore is lamenting the demise of slavery. Here's an ad that is it's from a PAC. It's pro Roy Moore PAC entitled "Restore Our Godly Heritage." And here's what they're warning us of, folks. If you're in Alabama, take heed. Because, Whitey, it's time for you to wake up.
America is drowning, being dragged under by those who stubbornly turned their back on God's powerful words. The victims, those brave Americans who stand
Pause.
up to
Look at those brave Americans. They're just a nice white family standing by what looks like to be an electric pole.
They're hanging out like.
What are they doing?
They're just like having fun with their kids in the yard.
Or
they're
they're not
bravely.
Or are they
hanging out
hiding?
from Muslims?
No, they're hiding in the woods. And they've littered. Do you see that? They've thrown a cup down on the ground behind them.
Well, that's their right to do as white Americans.
All right, roll it back just a little bit.
Americans who stand up to protect the Ten Commandments, traditional marriage, and religious freedom. Judge Roy Moore is sick and tired of a small
Pause it
group of
for 1
people
second. They just showed a shot, a picture of what looks to be like the Castro on Gay Pride March Day. People are up on in a building looking out a window. They seem to be waving at people down below, and it suggests to me this is during like a Gay Pride March, and so they've got guys with shirts off and wearing leather.
Roy Moore is sick and tired of a small group of people telling the majority how to practice their faith in everyday life. That's why he's running to be the next United States Senator from Alabama.
There you go.
I think I saw some twunks in there.
Hey, I'm Roy Moore. Can I go out on a date with your 14-year-old daughter? See, I'm working to reinstate religious values into Alabama. That would be great if he literally got on screen. The first thing he did was try to pick up a 14-year-old.
I hate to remind y'all, but if you look in the Bible, Abraham's wife, rather young. I'm just trying to. These are real biblical, like super old biblical values, like literal values. We're going to begin stoning any of women who don't keep themselves far away from the village during that time.
The dude just needs to trade books. We could drop him off in Raqqa.
Exactly.
Go do some Sharia courts for them. The fuck out of here.
So
you know
there
it doesn't
is.
even need to be that this extreme. Literally just go to Saudi if you could deal with being around brown people.
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos